So this here is going to be a very fast video just showing you how we could build some extra eliminators. So we have the original eliminators right here, and we've built all three of them. One there, one here, and the kneeling guy here. We're in the middle of painting them, so we haven't based them yet. And we base coated them all with Leadbelcher, and now we're starting the Camo Cloaks. But this isn't a video for how to do the Camo Cloaks. There's a dozen of those on the internet. The interesting thing with the Eliminators kit is that there's plenty of extra guns inside, provided you don't want to be completely WYSIWYG. You can use the las Fusils or the other sniper carbines, and you could build another set of Eliminators. So that's what we did. So we took a set of just general Primaris Marines, and we mounted them with the las Fusils, which we had 3 of. Used a second cloak head, because the Eliminator kit has 3 heads for each model, your choice. So we've got a cloak head, and then all we needed is cape, and in our case, we used a Sea Dragon cape from the Black Art Corsairs box. So as you can see here, they have these interesting capes on the back, and that's what we've got here. Because we're dealing with Alpha Legion, a Sea Dragon Hydra type cape is exactly what we like, and we can mount them on the back, and that sort of works as a Eliminator back. So what we did today was we painted up one of the capes, and I liked it so much I wanted to do a quick video on how it was done. So we're going to do that now, just going over what was done to paint this one up, so that if I ever do some in the future, or when I use the rest of the capes in the box, I'll have a matching set. So we'll go over that right now. So the first thing we did with our Storm Dragon cape is we used some Stormvermin Fur as a base coat. So we just spread that completely over the cape, both the inside and the outside, and that created a base coat, same as we do with the normal Eliminator capes. We use the Stormvermin Fur for that as well. So we've got that done. We'll be back here in a second for the next color. And for our next color, what we're going to do is take a little bit of Dawnstone, which is lighter than the Storm Vermin, and we're going to dry brush that all over the cape on both sides. We're going to dry brush that all over the cape on the inner surface, like so. Like so, and any place where the cape folds over, such as in this location and that location. So we're going to dry brush all of that now, and be back here in a few minutes when that's done. So this is our cloaks now that we finished with the Dawnstone, and we've gotten them a little bit lighter than the Vermin Fur undercoat on the rest of the cloak. So we're going to put one more highlight layer over the top of that. And with that, we're going to use Administratum Gray. And we're going to dry brush that right over the top of these folds, as well as the inner surface, creating a pretty bright edge highlight on the models. So just your normal dry brushing, just lightly over those inner folds, like so, as well as the hood, if you happen to have one for the top of the head, which there are extras in the kit. So there's no reason why not to have one. So we'll do that. We'll do the inner side of the cloak, and then we'll be back in a few minutes to work on the outside scales. So with that, our inside of the cloak is finished. And as you can see, it's pretty bright now. So what we're going to do now is move on to the outside of the cloak and do all the scales. So the first thing we're going to do with that is take a little bit of Incubi darkness and start just meticulously coloring in all of the area that encompasses the scales. So we'll do that now and be back in a few minutes once we've gotten all that done. This is our model now that we finished with the Incubi darkness, but effectively this is what it looks like and makes the folds stand out considerably more, because they're so much brighter than the Incubi darkness that's on the back of the cloak. Now that the Incubi darkness is dry, what we're going to do is start with our Moot green. And we're just going to start picking out each of these scales one at a time, lighting them up. So it seems like a large task, but because they're raised up, it doesn't take that long. Just like so. So we'll just work our way through each of these. Be back here in a few moments once we're finished painting them. So this is our model now that we finished with the Moot green highlights on each of the scales. We did both models, as you can see. So what we're going to do now is add a different color of scales. So we'll do that with some Ungor flesh. And then we're going to just pick out a row of these scales here. Just like so. Just like that. And we'll probably do a few more over here and a few more over there to create the same stripe pattern that you've seen on our original here. So we'll do that now and be back in a few minutes. So here's our models now that we've finished with the Ungor flesh. And as you can see, we've got our sort of striped columns here of our Moot green and then our Ungor flesh. Did the same thing on the other model here. Just like so. So now all we're going to do is add one more highlight to each of these scales. We'll do it with some white, and we'll do it a little bit of white scar. And we're just going to slightly touch the top of each of these scales, just to leave a tiny bit of highlight there. Just like so. So we're just picking out some random ones just to make it a little bit brighter. So we'll finish that up, meet back here again. So that's our white scar added, and we could leave it perfectly like that, and it's perfectly fine. But if you want to create one more overall blend, something like a watered down warp lightning or some other green color, you can just go over the entire thing. Now this wet glazed appearance is what we're going to do after we've dry clear coated it. We'll put a gloss coat over the scales themselves and create that wet look when it's all finished. So there's the scales with the green and there's the scales without. And it's really your call which one you like to do, but they both look great. When it's dry, it looks like that. And that'll create our Eliminator cloaks. The rest of the model just paints up like normal Alpha Legion. Stormhost silver for trim. Runefang steel over the Ironbreaker. And then we've got our blue and then green contrast paints over the top of that. And the gun itself goes Ironbreaker and then, or Leadbelcher and then Ironbreaker. So we'll get all that done and we'll kind of show you what it looks like in the very end. So this is our dragon scale cloaks now that we're finished. So all we did was paint up the rest of the model as we had mentioned for the Alpha Legion colors. And then we put the Ard Coat gloss over the top of the cloaks once we had finished painting them up. This is our full squad of Eliminators with the last Fusils now. As you can see, we just did the normal Alpha Legion stuff that we've been doing. So that's the Runefang steel over the Leadbelcher, and then we put the Akhelian green and the Warp Lightning green over the top. And then that got us the shade of armor color that we've got here. And then we did the rest of the details, the faces, the las fusils as well. And there's the little green plasma glow in there, same as we've done any plasma previously. At the same time, we also did a regular set of Eliminators. So we did their camo cloaks as you see here, and as we mentioned in the video itself, all we did was the base coat of the Stormvermin Fur gray, and then we did alternating squares of Dawnstone, Mechanicum standard gray, and Administratum gray to give you the different shades of gray, and then the rest of the models are painted up pretty much the same as the others are. And these are the finished models from the front. So as you can see, just all the details. We did the brown satchels and the armor casings and the bullet casings and the stalker bolt rifles. So we've got them set up as they are here. So this is both units all together now. And that's pretty much the extent of our painting for Eliminators. So if you liked this video, if you found it helpful, please feel free to leave a like on the channel, leave a comment. If you like the sea dragon skin cloaks or just regular Eliminators and you want some Loyalist Alpha Legion stuff, I hope this helped. And otherwise than that, we will see you at our next painting video. I'll throw a few photos on the end just so you can see a bit more detail. But otherwise than that, we will see you at our next video. Thanks for watching.